I'm Cristina Chumillas on Drupal.org. I work as a senior front-end developer at Lullabot. And I'm right now in a period of time of 6 months where I'm being sponsored by Lullabot to work full-time. And they let me choose whatever I wanted to, well, not whatever, it had to be like a little bit of planning, but I could choose what to work on, and I decided that I wanted to improve the admin interface. And yeah, I'm gonna give you a little overview of what we're working on. I will be focused mostly on what I work on, but I will give a little bit of overview of other efforts. But basically, the idea behind what we're doing is, you all know that Dries defined like the vision or the goal to empower ambitious site builders, that was our target. But the thing is that we want actually to have a really good product for final users, but we don't have control of their sites that a site builder is actually going to build, and every site is completely different. So we came up with well, it's not an amazing idea, but we decided that the best way to reach those final users was actually helping and empowering these site builders to build the best solution. And some of the ways is like, for example, shipping with better defaults, maybe even better instructions to help those site builders build all these new and amazing things. We need to update Drupal's interface to new and more modern standards, better interactions. And after the big improvement that Claro meant from 7, that was a great theme at the time, but it was there for too many years. We changed the look and feel, but we really didn't change the interactions, the patterns, and a lot of the underground way everything works. So we had a lot of ideas when we were developing Claro, but of course, the ideas might not be the best ones. So we're doing a lot of research. We have been doing, and we're doing, and we will keep doing research. The first way that we started, because it was the easier one for us, was actually defining user personas. Does anybody doesn't know what the user persona is? Okay, it's easy. So we came up with these more or less 3, 4 user personas. We have the site builder and site administrator, which most of the time is the same, but in different phases of the project, the needs are completely different. And then we have content users, and I don't want to get into the bike shed like a site editor, or a content editor, or a content manager, if they can edit their own stuff, other people's stuff, like it's getting into too much detail, but more or less we kind of define the 80% of cases and what would be the needs for these 80% of cases. And each of them are going to need different things, different priorities. Like, for example, this is the site builder, which are the usual behaviors, but what are their motivations? For example, they want to implement something without needing other people. They probably want to do the things with the minimum effort, maybe the faster way, because they want to get stuff done. Which are their frustrations nowadays when they are working with Drupal. And that's coming up with some ideas, but at the end, what we really need is to know what are the journeys that these people take. And we started defining like a huge journey from the installation of Drupal to the publication of content. Just with this initial exercise, we saw so many painful steps for each of the users. Basically, a user journey is where they start and where they finish. Basically, where you start as you log in, /user, you get there. Cool, you've been a member of this site for, I don't know, 24 hours, and what? So you have a goal. So what's the best and faster and easier way to achieve this goal? So this is what we were trying. For example, if you want to create a content type and you want to add fields, what's the best way to do so, and what are the pain points on the way. We're doing other research. We're doing like card sorting for the information architecture, for the main navigation or the administration navigation. This is something that we got the confirmation last week, actually this week, at the beginning of this week. Yeah, I don't know. The whole week here, you get days confused. But basically, we're going to run a research at the laboratory, UX laboratory, like with user research, real users. We need to define what we want to do. I'm not sure, I think it was in 2011 when it happened, the last one, so it's going to be a big one, and I'm really, really excited about that because it's going to be great to hear somebody say how bad we're doing things. But yeah, anyway. Navigation. This is what I chose to work on. I kind of opened the Pandora box because when you want to open and change one thing, it's Drupal. I mean, take a rock and you will see what is behind that. Anyway, there was a lot of work before that already done. Like the information architecture part is something that started happening, I think 5 years ago or something like that. The content creation new menu, it's a concept that few of us, like Roy, Laurie, Sasha, several people came up with the idea that we should have a menu for content editors, and they shouldn't just have the content link over there. So, I don't know, several things. There was some research on the already closed admin UI and JavaScript modernization initiative. And something that we never were able to implement at Claro is like the new layout, which is something that Jean already has, which is basically wrapping stuff in layers, kind of, like in a way that you don't have the old header and page style from 2005, I don't know. So, why are we doing all this? For example, we want a different information architecture for site builders and content users. We don't have right now a second level navigation for the horizontal mode. I keep saying vertical because it's on the top, but anyway, it's horizontal mode. Although Ben is working on that and several other people are working on that, still it's going to be what we have with the admin toolbar. Country module. It also takes a lot of space within its vertical. It's not up to date, the designs, accessibility problems, and jQuery, and a lot of other things. So in general, what are the parts of or the things that we're working on? The information architecture and the research, but there's also design. Right now, we would be between this point where the front end has started, the research hasn't finished, and the user tests haven't started. You see that all these layers are one on top of the other. It means that we're going to, our plan is to iterate a lot. So we want to have people feedback, user test feedback, and improve and iterate all the time. So let's start with the information architecture. As I was saying, this was actually open in 2016. It started like a while ago by Ifrik and a lot of other people. FUI, there's going to be a lot of these issues with a number in there if you want to take a screenshot, otherwise I will share the slides later on. So with this, a lot of people just try to come up with ideas, plans, and how actually organize the administration menu. We did a card sorting. We are working on the results of that, and we will probably iterate over whatever we get from the results. But just an overview, this is a matrix that put together several cards and how close they are. And if you can see, there are like, at the top, there is a group of cards. This is I think it's content related ones. I mean, you will see that there are like several groups of things, and that's usually where you have the main item from the menu. Anyway, this is just the first step. So I love this matrix because it's an easy way to see stuff. Then the new content creation menu, something that we came up in, well, 2021, it's not that far away. The basic idea of that is that right now you have the admin menu, and you have the content, the structure, appearance, but when a content user doesn't have enough permissions, they randomly see first-level items that they don't have any access to stuff in there. And how should we actually organize all these items that they actually have access to in a way that it makes sense for them and they are actually on the first level? Because we want them to get fast to whatever they want to do. So we came up with this idea. Obviously, this will need to be tested, but for example, we want to have a group of things to create new things, and you will say, oh, but we have user accounts, tag, video, images, document, training. Yeah, how do you explain a user what's the difference between media and an image and tag? And is the tag content? Is not content? It's really complicated, so we want to validate all these assumptions. Then we can manage stuff. We have a group of settings, advanced or whatever, and all the other links in there. So that was the first idea. And the designs. Okay, this is going to be fast. It's not that I'm going to show up and hide it. It's just that I'm going to do a few iterations so you kind of grasp a little bit what do we have on our heads right now. We kind of came up with a few designs last week, and we started to discuss about them, and we were thinking about what if we put this, put that, so come with me to this journey. We started with these designs where, well, it's a sidebar. On the left, we have a logo, the bookmarks, the administration menu, and some stuff at the bottom that can be sticky at the bottom. Then we said, okay, we have to put in there this create menu. Okay, we have the create menu. We also can give the option to use a user photo. But this is Drupal. Let's give people the option to have also an extra menu in there. But you see, we don't even see the top of that. It's starting to be a little bit busy. But what if we open the menu? It's a little bit busier, but there's not a third level open yet. Let's remove the search and the lines, because of course it is going to make it clear. But we were working about the dashboard. We need to put the dashboard in there, so we need to fit more stuff. But there's a problem there. What do we do when we collapse the sidebar? How do we make the first level items that are just first level items and they are a link? But what if we want to access the second menu item at the same time? What about the user menu? Is it going up, down? What if we have third menu items? We forgot about back to the site. Where do we put that? Okay, let's put that at the top. And this is Drupal. People have opinions. We need the logo bigger, please. So we have a lot of stuff. We are iterating on that. So we will want to test all this with users. So if you want to be part of this initial test, reach out to us on the admin interface. We will also, probably by next week or the week after, we will try to do like user tests. We need to come up with a script, like go there, go there, go there. And we actually have a prototype working. Oops, and the next slide should be here. But basically, we have a prototype working. This is exactly how it looks this morning, So it's basically / navigation, the project. It's HTML just put in there. Well, it's like a menu you can install and test. But we're trying to find a way to make the script so people can navigate and they can really see that working in Drupal and start getting feedback from there. So if you want to participate on that, reach out to us on the admin UI channel. So yeah, this is how it's working right now. Just a small idea. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be changed, but it's like, I don't know, more or less, an overview. So you can see that it looks really packed. So yeah, right now we don't have just don't look at that. Layout changes. This is something that we, as I was saying, we wanted to do like years ago, and claro, I mean, accessibility, core, that's a lot of stuff that we had to fix for Claro, and it had to work with a lot of things, and we really wanted to do that. So we had to postpone all this work. And basically, the first and initial idea was to come up with step-by-step change. The idea is basically just, I'm not sure if it's in, there is a darker background, and then everything is wrapped in a layer, something that is wrapping it. And the first idea was just wrap things in layers. After that, just maybe have a sidebar at the right, and I don't know. But if we want to have the sidebar at the right, we need to get whatever out. Well, the next idea was actually having a top bar where you can actually have the save button, but we have to move the toolbar, small details, so we had to start with the sidebar. That's why I started with the, I chose to work on the sidebar, but the idea is like to change a lot of things on the layout, but the first one is actually removing changing the background and all these things that are easy, but obviously they are not. We're actually thinking about other navigation changes, like for example, local task, local action, vertical tabs. Like for example, so we have first the local tasks, that's primary tabs, secondary tabs. Then we have local actions that are these CTAs. But what if we, for example, are on the manage display and we have a button to add a view mode directly there? Because if you know how do you actually have to add the view mode, you have to go to the, you have to go to the displays mode, then manage display. Well, I mean, we have this manage display thing called like 5 different ways, like 4 modes, display modes, view modes, manage view settings. We have like, we call it in completely different ways. So we were thinking about other ways to make things easier. So this is more or less what we're working on. It's not just an isolated thing, it's a bunch of things that depend on each other. And let's see what we're able to do on the next months. I'm going to give this session again to Lille. So on one side, I really hope I don't have to change a lot less the slides, but on the other side, I really hope so. So yeah, that's one thing. Then the field UI usability improvements, because field UI UX didn't sound really good. So the people at AKIA, the Drupal acceleration team, are doing an amazing job changing things like, for example, how are you actually going to reuse the fields? I guess everybody was at Lauri's session yesterday, but basically you have way more information and you get a lot of context now when you want to actually reuse a field. And if you want to create a new field, this is what you have on 10.1 already. It's already there. So 10.1, well, the development one. So there's a lot of stuff, really good stuff happening. I didn't put it in here, but they're coming up with tooltips. They're working on several other things, which is the same that we're doing. I mean, the moment that you move a rock, there are 100 things behind that, and you actually need to fix them. So they're doing the same. Then layout builder. This is the issue where several people is actually working on like improving UX stuff for layout builder. But at the same time, the Pittsburgh got the layout builder decoupled and Gutenberg, and all this stuff is happening at the same time. And the person that is going to figure out how to solve all this is Lauri. I'm not going to get into that for now, so ask him. Sorry. Then dashboard is something that I think, so a lot of people just give this by, come on, we don't have a dashboard. It's like easy, like in any other software you have. Well, not software, but a lot of other tools, you actually have a dashboard by default. We had one actually. So it would be really great to have this, but it turns out that we actually, well, this is Sasha's design for Gene. He actually implemented that on Gene. If you want a dashboard, like Gene already has this option. But it turns out that we had a dashboard and we removed it because we didn't have meaningful content for people. So people actually disabled it just after installing Drupal. We are trying to solve the problem before getting a new dashboard. And with that, we want to work on that research, the user personas. As you see, a lot of things are related to each other. And we're coming up with ideas like what each of them would need, because what I was saying, an administrator or site administrator won't have the same needs as a site builder. A site builder is a person that is creating content types, that is adding fields to the content type, is creating views. And the content editor is obviously somebody that is going to need completely different things. Shortcuts, you see the asterisks in there. I think I could remove it today, but there was a proposal to remove shortcuts from core, and I tried to say, please, no, we might need that on the site navigation. We might need that on the dashboard, so please don't remove that. On a feature perspective, it's something that we see in a lot of places, so this is probably not getting to be removed, but if somebody is interested in maintaining and updating the current implementation, FUI. The dashboard, they are going to be entities. The idea was initially depending on layout builder, but 2 days ago, we decided that we weren't going to depend on layout builder. So Christian here refactored the whole thing in an afternoon. And now layout builders don't depend on, dashboards don't depend on layout builder. So you can install first a dashboard, which is not going to be a layout builder, and then you can enable the layout builder, and then you will be able to customize that. Basically, you will have a permission per dashboard. So as a user, you can have 2 dashboards. You can have your own dashboard, and maybe you want the CEO dashboard. So you can create new ones if you need it. You can have, hopefully, this is something we need to obviously change in core, but you could have like menus in there, my recent content, translation. This will be like the typical example for a content user, or the easy default example for a content user without any design, custom design on anything yet. And other proposals that I think are really, really interesting. I love this one. So the story of this one, this is actually worked by Chris Weber, Cosmic Dreams, by Brian Perry, and Martin Anderson Manklu. So, sorry, I just know people by nicknames. So the thing is that I went to Florida DrupalCamp, and on the same session that I actually had to refactor completely from February, I was saying it would be great that the preview that we have right now in Drupal, that people just don't even know that exists. It could be just like something that you would have on the right. Like you're working and you have the preview. If you want to enable, disable it, whatever, but it could be just really cool to have that. And yeah, I didn't stay for the sprints on Sunday because I had to take a plane and whatever. 3 days later, Mike Herschel comes and pinged me, and there was, you know that there were some few guys like on Sunday just working on the stuff, and I was like, oh, cool. Just join this channel, please. And join the channel. It turns out they had built it, Drupal. Yeah, just give an idea, people just bunch of Drupal, let's go and create it. So basically, this is the state of how it is right now. I think, yeah. So you can install that right now on any site. So this is really cool. And you can work on that, add stuff. I mean, they're improving more and more and more. You can have the option to have the view modes on the right or not having it. It's like different things. This is the proposal to add it to core and hopefully replace the preview. But I think that is really cool. I think it's really, really important to have people getting together in a room and just building Drupal. Something else that I really think are super cool is like, for example, just having autosave by default. It would be great at some point have that in Drupal, since we have so many things on the table right now. That was something that I really wanted to work on and have in Drupal core, but we had to postpone it because I don't have more hands. I need to focus on something, and I need to work on the navigation thing, but this is something that I would really love to see that. Right now, it's actually a module that you can just install that it's called Autosave. It's from Cristo, and it has like more than 5,000 installations, and I really hope the numbers are right, but it's a stable version. Basically, you just have a form, you just set a few parameters or leave the defaults, and you have autosave in your forms, and that's it. So I think it's really useful for content editors, of course. There is an ideas issue. We started really discussing this. It had several reviews, but as I'm saying, we're kind of postponing it a little bit because we want to fix all the things and not everything at the same time because we don't have language. Something really cool that is way in progress, it's still a work in progress, is having an accent color. Jean already has it. I'm probably sure that you have seen that on Jean. It's really cool, and a lot of companies actually love this, especially if they have distributions or if they have customizations, like really small customizations that are accessible work. But it turns out that this is in core already. It's in Jean also, sorry, in Jean, in Olivero. So you can actually have schemes, color schemes, not just the accent color, but color schemes. So basically, there is this proposal to have a parser where you can actually read the colors, and then this way we will be able to define different palettes. So you will be able to customize it. This is a really small thing, but there's so many people that give a lot of weight to customizing their UI. And I think this is a really small thing that can improve a lot. And with these changes, we can have an accent color. When we finish the modernization of all the CSS in Claro, this is something that will be able to just replace CSS variables, and it will be really cool. So how to get involved in general? There is this plan with the administration UX improvements. There are several links over here. This is an overview of what's everything that we're trying to focus on right now. You won't see, for example, the autosave. You won't see other things because we're trying to focus on getting things done soon. And we're going to put more stuff the more we go forward. So this is right now what we're focused on these specific months. And if you want to get involved, you can get into the admin UI channel, the field UX channel, layouts. It's for the layout builder, the dashboard, and the preview. Thanks.
Thank you for the talk and updates and all the work you do. I'm very curious, you were talking about the design or the ideas of the designs for the menu. And you were talking about the UX research that we have done. And I saw the logo, you talk about the logo, bigger. And I wonder, is this a need that we have like having a logo is something that we have discovered from the UX research that people need, or what is the purpose of the logo in the first place? Because we don't have it now, it's like strange to me.
So we have like several iterations without the logo too. It's just that we want to test this. We don't have I don't have an answer for this. I have my answer, what I think, but the real answer is going to come from testing from users. If users that are actually working on that are saying, Where's the logo here? Just remove the logo. It's just annoying. We're going to do that. The thing is that we want to have all the variations and test all the variations to actually decide that. Because as a site builder, you don't want the logo, the Drupal logo in there. You don't want anything taking space. But if you're a company that sells e-commerce sites to small bookshops, for example. They want to have their logo, they want to customize the site with their colors, and that's a really huge sell point. And if we don't even think about this possibility, there is not going to be a place on the designs. You've seen the search in there. We don't have a search in Drupal, but we're taking into account all these possibilities because in the future, hopefully, people will have either the choice, I don't know, you want to have 25 bread menus on the sidebar. I mean, it's your site, you choose. The defaults obviously are going to be what we think it makes sense, but anybody will be able to choose how big they want the logo.
Great, thanks.
Okay, so I have a question about the autosaves. It works with revision and content moderation, or is only work about the same draft?
That's a really good question. So the way, it's not just about the way it works right now. What we've been discussing is what it could be in the future also, because every time that you plan something in Drupal, I mean, you have hundreds of possibilities. And when we actually started discussing that, it wasn't just about revisions. Well, yes, well, it was also that, like how we see the difference between changes that people has done and everything, but we were like discussing also more on a high level, like for example, do we want concurrent editing or something like that? So probably Christo can actually answer better the details about what it is right now. It's more about what is going to get in core and which features, so I'm not pretty sure. It's not about moderating the content, it's like for the person that is saving the content and the different variations of that content itself. Well, it's either in draft or their own content right now, but it's what is going to be, depends.
Thank you.
Are you gonna run through the user testing the horizontal mode of the toolbar, or you want it to be vertical on the left side?
Yeah, no. That the question is,
I mean, the slides is always on the left.
Yeah, so we've had this discussion, and the top bar itself. So we're not starting our assumptions from scratch. Like for example, Sasha is doing exactly the same for GitLab, and he's saying that all the tests that they have done, they are actually concluded that they don't want anything on the top. Even though in GitLab you have it right now, they are redesigning the whole thing, and they are putting everything on the left. So we started the assumptions from there, but we're not 100% sure. And like one of the things that we were discussing is that maybe we keep some stuff at the top, which is, for example, I don't know, the user menu, the search, some other things. The reason why we are assuming that the right place for the admin navigation and big navigations is on the left, it's because in this research, we've done research about what's the best navigation. And for complex information architecture where you have a lot of links, always the best is the one that the main navigation is on the left, the first level of the navigation. Because if you want to have more than 3 or 4 items, the place is, and for complex navigations, all the tests are always giving better performance on the left. That's why for complex navigations, and that's actually a standard for industry, basically most of the people. Doesn't, I mean, we're not going to list, if we find from the user test that everybody's complaining about why is everything on the left, I mean, we will probably iterate over that. But our hypothesis starts from the left.
Yeah, I always click the button to have it on the left.
Cool. Any more questions?
Thanks, everybody.